Welcome back to the Fxner Fam podcast. I'm not saying Fxner this time because too many people are actually calling it Fxner. So
yeah, we're not. It's fine.
For clarification, Fxner Fam.
Yeah, the Fixing of Families podcast.
We've got 2 guests today for the first time.
We do.
And yeah, I think we've only had one before.
Yeah, we haven't had two before. So. That's the first time.
We got Jeanette over here, Megan.
Yep.
You guys want to tell us a little bit about what
you guys do? Fill everybody in, kind of give the rundown, and
I'm Megan. I'm a sophomore in college, and I do like content creating in my free time, and I'm a psych major.
Hi, I'm Jeanette. So I major in actuarial science. I'm an intern for WTW, and I'm also a content creator for the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
Nice. So, in sense of like, I guess content creation, like obviously that's the realm we're in right now and talking about stuff. What do they have you do like for that? Like, I mean, some people might not know. I mean, I obviously don't know, so.
So basically, they just pay me to make TikToks for them regarding the school. I have free range on anything I want to post as long as it's school appropriate. And I pitch ideas just to get like more engagement from our student community and let people know about the university.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so kind of like the almost updates for what's going on and anything where people can catch new stuff and all that. I've seen... I can't remember what school it was, but there was another school that did something similar but they had like a group of people doing it, and then they have a lot of schools now are getting into more of like, content creation stuff as far as like people have like esports teams where they'll have those people like full on, like they'll market them and try to get them on a bigger platform and stuff like that. So not the exact same realm, but similar where it's like related to school and trying to get them out there. I think it's something that, obviously social media is not going anywhere anytime soon. It's becoming a primary platform. We see a lot of, people nowadays where it's almost like more celebrities are coming out of social media versus just whatever it's movies, music, TV, whatever it is. So I think, some people are like, oh, I just want to do content, after like high school or whatever it may be. Colleges are seeing that and giving people the opportunity to do it while they're at school and like making it where it's like more or less you can still go to school and be like, okay, I'm gonna try this too. So I think it's smart for, people to get into. Yeah. Some schools are paying people now too, which is cool.
I didn't know you get like total free reign on what to post. Is it not picking it up?
No,
okay.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like, so you could just post pretty much anything as long as it's like not ridiculous.
Rotate this one a little bit.
It could actually be ridiculous. They've been really trying to get it to be like more funny.
Turn the screen for
some of my ideas were definitely denied just because of how outrageous they were, but I do get free reign. I just need to get it approved before I post it.
What's some of the stuff that got denied?
So I don't even know I'm allowed to talk about this, but so the University
we'll edit it out if not.
The University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee had a few overdose deaths last year, so they started offering free Narcan. So I am trying to get contact with the police department to see if I could do an interview with them asking about what happens if you're blacked out drunk, how should we get home, can we call 911, and like where the free Narcan is, because overdose deaths are like a really big problem everywhere. So I definitely want a message about the Narcan being free and available at UWM. So
or schools in general. Like, I mean, that's because...
And how like good Narcan could be.
Especially like the big party schools, that's a big thing that, even if it's not a big party school, it can happen anywhere. So having that available, whether it's, you have to go through, you have to know where to go to get it, or whether it's like, okay, somebody can call the number and be like, all right, we need this now, and they can bring it there. Like I said, I'm finished with school now, so I mean, I experienced some shit like that, where it's like I was at a party at NIU 3 years ago now, something like that, 3 or 4 years ago, and I watched some kid. I don't know who they were. I just know I remember seeing this like right in front of me happen. Walks upstairs. This is at a house. Walks upstairs from the basement that everyone was at. There's a bunch of people down there. There's a bunch of people on the second floor. Walks up the stairs, trips up the stairs first, gets onto the main floor, stumbles, finds their group of friends or whatever. They can tell that the person's like f***ed up, so they're trying to like monitor them and whatever. But when somebody's f***ed up, they're gonna do whatever. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what's going on. They walk out or tried to walk outside, fell down the stairs of the front of the house. So I'm like, bro, I'm watching the whole shit because I'm standing like by the front of like the house, not outside the door, but like right by where the front entrance is. Walks out the front door, trips down those stairs, gets up, looks around like 3 times, like, seeing what's going on, trying to figure out where they're at, because obviously they're off their ass and shit. And then all this just out of nowhere, just full on, just planks it backwards and just slams their head on the ground. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going? I went home after that. I'm like, nah, I'm going home. I can't be around this. I can't deal with this. It's good
that you're
shit.
trying to bring awareness to that, because fucking, as more things become normalized, like weed's legalized, everyone's been drinking
for years.
It's just like everyone wants bigger and better, so they move on to, I'm not saying this is not this way for everyone. I'm not going to be like one of those guys, so like pot's a gateway drug. I'm not like, it can be, but it's different for everyone.
Oh, 100% it can be.
A lot of the time especially with younger people, they want to move on to something else, and a lot of times now it's pills.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
It's like you crave that high, so it's like once you get to a certain spot and then you crash, you just keep looking for that fix.
Yeah. I think I saw somebody on Twitter posted it, but it's a video of basically a visual depiction of what like people getting into like harder drugs was, and it was like a plane taking off, right? The first one was like it took a while to go back down. And then it goes off again. It gets a little shorter, and like progressively gets shorter to the point where it's like it goes off and just crashes right away. I'm like,
yeah, there's the one with the bird.
That one too. I saw that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing. It's like, as much as people might not think, oh, it can't happen to me, or oh, I might. Nah, nobody's invincible to anything. Like you never know what's gonna happen. So, just always one, if you have it available, know how to get to stuff like that. 2, make sure you're not just out with randoms. Like, the one big thing about getting into, especially for like stuff like that, when people get into shit, it's always around like people that might be doing the wrong shit. So it's like, just like, I'm not encouraging anybody to do this in any way. First of all, don't just go out and do fucking crack or some shit. But in any way, if you end up in this situation, at least be around people that you can trust or whatever. So if you do end up in that situation, you're not screwed over or something happens because you don't know who they are.
Also, even if you do trust them, some people get messed over from their plugs or where they get it from. So.
Yeah, that's a big thing with, fentanyl being in everything now. It's crazy.
Everything's getting laced because fentanyl is like, they're trying to make their clientele addicted to whatever, like more addicted than they already are. So
yeah, that's
the crazy thing is there's barely any awareness about it. So especially when it's affecting college students. So
yeah, because that's a big consumer of all that stuff right now.
Yeah, I mean it's like the opioids epidemic is like the number one killer of people our age. It's like
it's unfortunate, but it's the truth that we live in right now.
So something I'm trying to bring to UWM and just like all schools in general is I was going to introduce a new fentanyl test strip, and we would offer them in every public place, like public bathroom. So if they wanted to test their drugs for fentanyl, that they definitely could. And I want to make it like free, university paid, but we're running into some issues. But I definitely think it would be helpful, especially with this fentanyl epidemic.
I could see how the university like that, it's going to backfall on them, like liability-wise, because it's going to kind of, on the outside, look like, oh, we're promoting the usage of drugs. Yeah. And, we're just like, oh, like, here's a strip. Like,
which they're not, but like...
Yeah, what I argued was, because I did bring it up to some like board members, was people are going to do drugs regardless. Mm-hmm. And as much as we push the no drug usage,
that ain't happening.
It's not going to happen. So better to just like have preventative care for when they do take these hard drugs than to just give them no information and they're just taking random pills from a random stranger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that, because like we all know, no matter what we say, what we do, it's always going to be a thing. And it's never going away. As much as it sucks to say, people are always going to get involved in shit they're not supposed to be. So, and that's just across the board with everything, not just drugs, whatever it be, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. People are always going to be doing stupid shit. So, I mean, it's really all we can do is try our best to make it the, I guess, safest experience. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's still detrimental effects other than it overdose. Yeah, I mean, I think the main goal should at least be to drop that death toll down.
Yeah, 100%. Try to get it as low as possible.
It's like insane, isn't it? Like over 100,000 a year now.
Yeah, it's getting very bad. It's getting very bad, and it's in an age range where it's a lot of, I guess, later teens, young adults type of thing. Because our parents have all experienced shit. They're over that hill. They're they're over. They don't want to experience that shit anymore. So it's a lot of people in our age group, and it's sad because like a lot of times it's what like I've seen a couple of stories where it comes up where it's a kid who's, it's like their first time trying something, or, they've been a straight A student or whatever, or they had a good job lined up for them or something like that. And then, they they end up trying something that they never did before with the wrong people, and something goes wrong. I mean, I think the biggest one that I can remember was there was a kid coming out of college. He was getting drafted to the NBA, and he went and started partying with a bunch of people and overdosed the week before the draft. Ended up passing away. He's about to have a completely different life. His family would have been set. Everything would have been good. Ended up partying with the wrong people, getting into the wrong shit, and ended up passing away like within a few weeks of the draft.
Like, do you guys remember like the 2016 Xan phase that everyone went through? People were popping Xans like insane. Like, I don't know. I mean, when I was in high school, everyone did Xans, and like they got it from like random people.
Yeah, there was an overdose at our school.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
In 2018, I think, right?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that. Mind you, I mean, I was hearing about shit at NIU, so it's pretty much the same shit going on. But yeah, it's scary. Like, it could really be whoever and whenever. You had something written down you wanted to pull up to talk about. I don't know. You wanted to talk. You could kick it off if you want to. Go ahead.
Am I thinking of the same one as you?
What, the women driving?
Oh yeah, yeah. So Jeanette had brought up to me earlier that she thinks cars are not made for women, and that's why they get into accidents.
Now,
so explain this.
You gave a bit of an explanation earlier, but go into it.
Okay. So this is what I was telling them earlier. Usually women are shorter, and when I drive, I cannot see the hood of my car.
Same.
So I don't know how like big my car is. So sometimes like things get in the way, like trash cans, curbs.
It's pretty big though.
Things get in the way.
Yeah, trash can's kind of big.
Like small poles, like I can't see those. So it's like sometimes I just end up hitting them. And everyone's like, oh, you're such a bad driver. But it's like, I can't even see the hood of my car. Joey says he could see the hood of his car. And I was so shocked. I was like, how can you see that?
I can't see anything.
Yeah.
I'm not one to talk shit about anybody's driving, because I know I drive like a fucking lunatic sometimes. But but no, I can. I mean, I guess newer cars, they're trying to fix that with like the seats being able to be raised up.
My car cannot do that.
Yeah, a lot of people who have cars that are older or just don't have power seats in general don't have the ability to do that. So I don't know how you would combat that. I guess make the seat standard height maybe higher, or give some sort of way to adjust it if you don't have power seats. I don't know. Like,
I would take like it's like a perspective type of thing. I don't know why, because like think about it. Like women always think we're not wrong. So like even like I hit curbs left to right, and so when I'm driving, I'm like, that curb was right there, and then my friends were like, did you not see? I was like, no, it wasn't there when I saw it. Like I was trying to like
no, it just moved. It moved.
No, yeah,
I swear it moved.
How was your driving test? Did you do good?
Yeah, I did good. But yeah, but I feel like it's like a mentality type of thing, because we never want to take accountability, so we're always gonna blame like the system. I mean, in certain things the system is like wrong, but I feel like in like a car, I mean, it was made for the man if you think about it, like history wise. But no, I think it's just women, like when we drive, we're like, it's even in our relationships, we're like, oh, I didn't even do anything, he just did that.
Oh,
you
know. No, for my driving test, I was supposed to fail. Leaving the parking lot, I hit 2 curbs.
Damn.
Like, I like almost like half started driving on the sidewalk. I was like crying while I was driving. The guy felt really bad for me. And when you're saying like women can't be wrong, he tried telling me my parking brake was like not where it should be. And I just started arguing with him. Like it was something in me. I was not even thinking like, oh, like he can like decide if I get my license or not. No, I started blaring at him. I was like, absolutely not. I'm like, this is my parking brake. There's no other parking brake in my car. He's trying to correct me. I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I go back, I park. He's like, that was a horrible parking job. I'm like, okay. Like, there's no one next to me. Like, who's gonna? And he was like, you know what?
There's no one here, so it doesn't matter.
I love how the 2 Asians are trying to explain how to drive.
Yeah,
like,
2 Asian people are trying to explain how to drive.
Yeah. Like, my driving record is so bad.
Oh my god.
Like,
yeah, you just got out of court.
Yeah, I just got caught driving on a suspended license, and so I've been in and out of court for the past month. Let me tell you guys, like, do not get multiple tickets. And also, I did not know this. Do not plead guilty. This sounds really stupid. I did not know that. I'm spinning some facts right now, though. My parents never taught me that you're not supposed to, like, plead guilty to a ticket. So I pled guilty to being on my phone while I was driving. And, like, it's like, oh, I have 100 $200. I'll just pay it off. No. Your insurance goes up and just like it's so difficult.
Right. I mean, I think since getting my license, I think I've had actual tickets handed to me. I think 2. I think tickets from like traffic lights and shit like that. I've gotten a couple of them, but never like anything where it's like
I've never gotten one. I've never gotten a ticket.
The only time I had a ticket, or not a ticket, where I had an issue where I had to go like to court or anything was it had to be more than 2 years ago because I got my car 2 years ago. So about 2.5, 3 years ago. By the time I was like, this guy, like I can't slow down and this guy's not moving. Something's happening here. So then I ended up getting into this accident, right? And I get out and the guy's like, his car, mind you, his car was like almost pretty much fine. It was an SUV. The car I was in was, this hood was smashed and I'm like, damn it. I'm like, bro, out of all the things that could happen right now, I was like, I get out. So he's like, first I asked him if he was cool. I'm like, is he all good? He's like, I'm fine. And then he's like, I got all this equipment in the back. I'm like, oh, here we go. So he tries to start listing off all this shit in the back of his car. He's like, if you pay me now, we could just not go to court. I'm like, dude, I'm not paying you. I'm not giving you I'm not paying your deductible, bro. Get out of here. So that's the one time I ended up going to court. I get there, he doesn't show up, and I'm like, well, he's not here. So like, and I go all the way up to like the judge. You have to go up to him with your ticket and shit like that. And he's like, well, you ran into the guy, but he's not here, so you can go home. Like, because I probably would have had to pay a decent amount of money if he would have showed up. So first of all, don't try to, if it's like $50, just give him the $50. But this dude wanted like $300-$400. I'm like, I'm not giving you $300, bro.
That's the same price as a deductible. That actually happened.
That's I'm like, I'm not paying you that.
That happened to me 2 months ago. I let the car roll. I was on my phone, and the car rolled forward, and it hit the back of like this Jeep's bumper. I kid you not, it was like this small of a scratch. He was like, I need to get a new bumper. I was like, okay. And he was like, I'm not filing a deductible. I was like, okay. And yeah, I ended up just sending him like $150 for the price of the bumper, but I thought he was gonna scam me too. Yeah.
No. Yeah, who are you guys dealing with? When I hit my friend's car, I wasn't looking behind me and I accidentally like slammed into his car. I completely obliterated the side door. And he looked at me. Yeah, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." First I asked if I should leave, and then the guy in my car was like, "No, you can't leave." I'm like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Well, that's my car you just hit." And I was like, "Oh, my bad." And we saw the damage. Ooh. He was like, "You know what? Just because you feel sorry for it, sorry for me, you don't have to pay anything."
Oh my God.
So
bro, you got to give me my money for
I got scotched. I was scotch-free. And my car had no damage. His car was pretty damaged, but
I'm not gonna lie. As bogus as it may sound, I'd be like, "Yeah, I don't care how sorry you are. You gotta pay me my money." I gotta get my door back.
He was like, "I just feel so bad. Like you're crying. Like it's fine. Like it's just a door." I'm like, okay, perfect.
Oh, that is.
It's just a door. Kind of need the door.
Like as a female, you can literally cry out of any situation. Like half the time when I get pulled over, I pull the innocent, like crying, like I'm stressed type of act, and usually it works. And sometimes it doesn't.
I might have to try it out. See what happens.
I will say it does not work all the time.
Yeah. Those like really old white cops, like they do not care.
I have yet to try the "Do you know my mom" card because my mom works for the city police department. I've yet to try it.
You're joking.
No, I'm so serious.
That can get you out of like any.
I'm so tempted to try it. One time, I'm like, "Yo, you know my mom?" Like, she said she knows you.
My friend, his dad's a police officer, and I think he literally just stapled his police badge to his insurance card. So every time he gets pulled over, they see the police badge first and like, "Oh, this is your dad?" And they're like, he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
The cop goes back, makes a phone call, and he's like, "You're free to go," even though he's speeding like 30 miles per hour over the speed limit. I'm like, what? I was like, that's some privilege right there.
You know what that shows though? Like that's what I've been learning. I've been like talking to like more older people with like companies and stuff, and they say like it's not even like money that's the most powerful thing in the world. It's networking. It's who you know. Like even if when you go downtown, if you know someone at like the bars or wherever or like at a restaurant, they'll hook you up automatically. Like you literally just have to talk to people and know people. That's it.
Yeah, that's facts. I mean, my mom's boyfriend, they go to like a lot of like sporting events or like concerts or whatever, you know, places that are down in the city where you got to have parking or whatever. There's this one guy that he knows that used to like be like the head of like parking securities and like, you know, lot securities and stuff like that. So like he'll go up to like people who work at the security booths and be like, yo, you know who this is? And he'll show them like the picture of them together and shit like that, and like his card that he had with him. And be like, oh yeah, go ahead. You go in the VIP section. They just let him roll through, and he's like, smooth. So like they went to the Bears game. It was fully like damn near fully packed. He drove through like the employee entrance, and he's like, oh yeah, this is I'm with what's his name? You know the guy's name. He said his name. He's like, oh, they're like, oh yeah, come on.
Yeah,
bring him to the front.
I'm paying fucking $16, $18 a day to park in the city.
No, imagine like that, right? You go there, and you be like, oh yeah, I know this guy. Oh, come on in. Come on in.
I worked there. I worked down in the city, so I'm.
Dude, city parking is ridiculous. I can't, man.
I hate parking in downtown Chicago.
Yeah, it's rough.
And the first day, I had to go to the office first, and that was free. But then when they sent me out to the job site, it was like $50 because I got there after 8. I got there at 8:01. I pulled up to the garage. 8:01. I was like, fuck, I missed the early bird special. I'm like, oh, whatever. It'll probably be like $10-15 more. Nope. Went from 18 to 50. So.
Getting back onto one of the topics that we kind of mentioned. You said it when you were introducing yourself, and you said it as well, like content creation and stuff like that. As far as like, you know, that realm of things, like doing like more people getting into like obviously podcasts, streaming, whatever it may be, what do you guys kind of think of like that becoming more of a popular thing versus like maybe a few years ago people were like, you're going to do that as a job? Like how are you going to make money doing that like type of thing? Like what do you guys kind of...
100% do it because when I first got into doing TikTok, my brother put me onto it, and he was doing like a nurse type of TikTok, and he was like, you need to come up with your niche. So like if you're starting anything, come up with your niche so you can find your target audience, and then that's how you can know like how to gain a following. And so I chose like one of the things I'm passionate about is fashion, so I chose fashion, and like you kind of just put it together and like what people compliment you on a lot. So like for example, if it's a podcast, it's the way you speak, it's the way you think. Podcast would be perfect. And my biggest recommendation for someone who's like really like trying to go head deep into it is find someone that you look up to and mirror the hell out of their content. I'm so serious. Like that's how I was successful is I literally found a person, put my face instead of like what he was doing or she was doing, and popped off. Same hashtags, same sounds, same look, same font, like everything. Like I don't care if you get called a copycat. It's going to work. Hey,
it doesn't matter if you're copying someone if it works. Shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
I really do like how content creation is becoming such a big thing because it allows anyone to get famous, even if you don't have like that money like in previous years. Like especially listening to podcasts now, like you get to hear like normal people talking about like everyday problems instead of like insanely rich people who are faking that they know how to make a cup of coffee. Yeah. Like
I agree with that because like a lot of times what over the past, you know, since COVID started to like now, podcasts for the most part were relatively like more, you know, bigger names. You know, obviously there's a few small ones here and there, but it wasn't as accessible as it is now. Like there's full on, you know, even just apps on the phone where you could record off your phone or whatever it may be. There's, you know, so many different platforms for people to have access to getting into podcasts and everything. And not just that, but like, you know, streaming and everything across the board has become such a popular and, you know, mainstream thing that it's almost like who isn't doing it nowadays versus who is. But now what's cool is it almost makes it its own, like, I guess it's sort of competition in a way, because now you see like who knows how to market themselves, who knows how to, you know, I guess make a thumbnail for a video that's catchy, who knows how to, you know, use the algorithms, who knows how to use SEOs and stuff like that, whatever it may be. And the more that it grows, it's becoming like, okay, this could be a viable thing for a kid coming out of high school. Like, let's say they're already doing it. Okay, their parents might see it and be like, instead of like before, people were like, oh, you can't, it's not going to work. Don't do that. You should always go to school just in case. Versus where it's like, if they come out of high school and they already have like a decent little following, they're like, oh yeah, go for it. Like, why not? You know, like if you take a year, if it doesn't work, or a year or two, and then
I mean, don't drop everything.
No, 100%.
You keep your day job until you're
ready. It should 100%. I agree.
Like we both have, we're doing this. We're trying to build this, but we're like, you know, we're not making anything yet.
No.
Hopefully we will.
Yeah. Watch the podcast. Get us.
Well, like even like it's not like the second, you know, we start making money off of it, we're gonna quit our day jobs. You know, keep sustaining what you're doing.
This is what I say. If it can't pay your bills, you shouldn't be doing it as the only thing right now.
Yeah.
If it's at a point where it's paying you more than your job, consider it. But I'd say until you can for sure like 100% consistently make more money off of doing whatever it is that you're doing, like content, music, whatever the hell it is, keep doing your main job first. A lot of people get this confused. They're like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I don't need to do anything else. You can't do that without being able to support it. You need money to put into it, because it's got one. maybe before a couple years ago, you might have been able to get away with, low quality shit. Nowadays, everybody expects like way up here. So you got to have some sort of support. One, especially if you're over a certain age, you got bills now. You got to pay that shit.
Yeah.
It's not going. And two, it's like, you're going to want money to do shit. So just have a job or a fallback at least. And if you're in school, do it on the side, because it's when you're in school, you're kind of, pushing the adult life back still. So, try to make the most of that time, while you're in school or whatever, high school, college, whatever, because you're still, in the trial phase where you don't got to pay bills or you don't got to worry about, I'm going to move out in a few years or whatever it may be. So I think it's definitely a good thing.
It's interesting, what you said, Janet. A lot of social media marketing managers, one big thing that, especially since like TikTok is becoming the new YouTube, is that like audiences, and especially the younger generation, we want to see people doing things that we do every day. Like, it's no longer like I want to see like Hailey Bieber, like her makeup routine. I want to see like someone basic using the same products that I can afford. It's the same thing with like fashion or really like anything. It's like the daily user is becoming like the main focus of like TikTok and like content nowadays.
Like, nobody really wants to see celebrities doing their everyday lives because, like, no one can relate to it. Like, the most people I follow on TikTok are just, like, everyday people probably living in, like, my favorite cities, like LA, Toronto. And it's just, like, what they do and, like, what they recommend because, like, they've tried it. They're not getting, like, they might not be getting sponsored, but at least they, like, actually trust them. Like, I don't know if Kylie Jenner even uses her own skincare.
Probably not.
So it's like, why would I trust that over like someone like Skincare by Hiram, who like actually uses all the products he talks about?
Yeah, stuff that you could be like, I could go to the store and get this. Or I was talking about it with Jim actually the other day. We were like, if they really wanted to make an interesting show, like, and this is just in a general standpoint. We were talking about like because we were cooking something, and I was like, if they really wanted to make an interesting cooking show, they would take college students, put them in a room with limited supplies, and you would see some magical shit be made. If you want to see interesting cooking, do that.
Like
I promise you. Yes. With college students, just give them very, very limited supplies and tell them to make something. I promise you, they'll find a way to make whatever you ask them to make.
Ramen and hot Cheetos. Do something.
Make something out of this. You'd be surprised what people can create.
Here's a bag of hot Cheetos, a microwave, and a bag of shredded cheese. Go.
Like you guys said, the big thing about media and like especially with people growing on social media platforms, like you mentioned with podcasts, it seems more relatable when you hear people that are in a similar situation as you talking about stuff. As much as people look up to celebrities and shit, I'm not going outside and driving 3 Ferraris every day. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's like,
Yeah, I'm driving a busted Toyota RAV4. It's like,
man, I wish I could get that Ferrari, I'm going to buy a new one this weekend. Like, how?
And that's the crazy thing is even when you talk to people who have it all, is like, it's not even all that to them. And like, they actually prefer the daily casual type of things that we use.
Yeah. So it's just showing how the market is shifting from like celebrities this, celebrities that, to like an average kid.
But the real question is can you market to your audience? Is like, you could have a big following. That's one of the issues I'm like battling with right now is like, I have an audience, but I don't know how to sell stuff to them. So it's like, I'm in this middle weird awkward phase where I'm like, you need to build, your audience needs to trust you. Like, why do you think, Kylie Jenner is a really bad example, but like Skincare by Hiram, the reason why people buy his products is because he's trusted and like he's verified and like, he doesn't lie. Like, that's why I only work with brands that like follow my value and like purpose that I like show on my TikTok, because without it, there's no like no integrity. Yeah, integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why UWM decided to create this content creation position. It's their first year doing it, and there's 5 of us. It's because we know how to market towards like a UWM student. Because they used to just have like adults posting. They would post like TikToks at 6 a.m.
Yeah, no one's up at that time.
Yeah, they posted a TikTok that I made at 6 a.m. and I immediately called them and I was like, delete that and repost it at 5 p.m. Like, no one's awake then. And I was like, and I was looking at their old content. I'm like, I don't like any of this. Like, I would never follow you if I saw this. So they definitely, like, we bring like a younger perspective and we say stuff that like, we make stuff that like people want to see as students. Mm-hmm. So I think that more schools are doing it. It's like really smart.
I saw, I had a class my last year in college, and it was like a, social media like marketing class type of thing. And
they have those.
Yeah, they have. They're starting. That's how popular it's becoming. Now there's schools that are, quite literally making whole curriculums around stuff like that. But they showed us one of the pages that the school like, you know, runs, but they don't really use it like that. But it's for, which is the worst part, is it's the page for the TV and film department. And they're like, okay, give us a review on this page. Like, and they wanted our honest opinion. Dude, the first thing I wrote was like, I'm not watching this. That's literally the first thing I wrote. Because
I'm not watching this.
It was so bad. It was literally like this. I don't know his name. I don't know who he is. So if I offend you, my bad, bro. But like, it was some old ass man standing in a room
making trash content,
making horrible content, and like in the most like, this is how you do this. This is how you do this. The most monotone voice I've ever heard.
I feel like that's a big thing, and just the way you speak your voice. Like when you're making, people are getting more into like, they just want to hear us talk like how we're talking right now. You know, they don't want to hear you put on a voice or put on a character for like, you know, doing that.
I just thought of something from my old episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like, you know, like that's what we try and just talk how we would talk if the fucking cameras and microphones were off, you know, like that's what people want to see. They don't want to see, like, you know, obviously there's still those figures like Mr. Beast, like
the huge guys
who are like, you know, these larger than life characters doing like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, we're kind of coming back down into like the genuine content is what people are looking for now.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just what people want to see now. It's more enjoyable.
Yeah, you guys remember when YouTube just started to be like those neon bright like thumbnails with like the almost outrageous captions? Like those,
the big red arrow.
So, those are even dying out. Like that's why even those creators, like their channels kind of die. That's the one thing that does scare me is what if you do get a following and eventually just dies off in a couple years? You need to build like a good foundation of a brand to like transfer that to.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like you gotta adapt to what's going on, because like a lot of content creators, you'll see them, they're around for years. And it's because they know how to move, you know, with what's going on. They know how to change to what's going on. They put themselves in a position where they see it coming before it's changed. So by the time it happens, you're still watching them. You're like, well, how did he do that so fast? Because they already knew it was coming. They're seeing the people from the bottom who are quickly rising. They're looking at all those people and they're like, okay, I'm going to start to slowly incorporate this. So by the time they get to where I'm at, I'm still relevant to what's going on. Like people like, for example, like PewDiePie, Casey Neistat, guys who have been around for years. They still
Canadian.
They're still
I'm still so sad.
So popular. It's ridiculous because, like I said, they plan for stuff like that. As much as it might seem like, oh, it's just a fun job, you just get on the internet and do something. There is a business to it. There's knowledge to it. You have to know what's going on.
Yeah, so for my director, he asked me to film like a day in my life, and I tried to make it as honest as possible because I'm not the best student. Like I definitely like sleep in late, skip classes, and like do dumb stuff in class, like not paying attention. And I filmed all of that, and I was completely honest. And he was like, "Are you sure? Like this is what you want to put out?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like it's relatable. It's relatable. It's like some days I just don't want to go to class, and some days like I'm not going to do the homework on time. Like I wanted to be an honest student, and it actually was like his most popular video on his YouTube channel. So he asked me to make more stuff. There's still like some stuff in the works, but like it just proves like nobody wants to see like a fake lifestyle anymore. It's all about like authenticity.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think I see a lot of like we talked about, a lot of schools promoting stuff where whether it be like the student life or whatever it is, and it's like, dude, nobody does that. Nobody goes to every single school event. That shit is nobody does.
Nobody, like, people want to see flaws, you know. They want to see like the human side of you. They don't want to see you try and be this like picture perfect human being, fucking like with, you know, no issues, you know.
It's not
like
real.
Everyone wants to see the human side now. And I think it's leading to better content.
That feels like something that anybody would record on like their phone. They'd go to a convention and just start, you know, recording whatever they see, and you know, it almost feels like you're like, that's you, you know, like that's why I feel like a lot of the content that's relatable is, you know, bigger, because people can quite literally put themselves in that video and be like, I could see myself doing this. And like you said, you know, copying, pasting yourself into whatever that person's doing. It's what everybody wants, and whatever, it gives people a special feeling of like, okay, it's not, oh, let's go drive the Bugatti today, or let's go, you know, smoke cigars and race our Ferraris or whatever it is. No, it's not. It's realistic, you know?
Yeah, it's like, come watch me hit 4 trash cans again.
Yeah. See, that's why that Tesla video did so good.
Yeah, the fucking Tesla
I can see myself launching that shit. As stupid as it was, I'd probably do something like that.
That content is always going to be around.
Yeah, the random shit bullshit.
That's always going to be around, and I'm here for it.
Oh, 100%.
I love that shit.
It's the good switch.
Yeah. That's
or sorry. Oh, you
good.
even see it with like celebrities. Like, why do you think the paparazzi were so hyper focused on like the Kardashians' personal life, and like no one actually cares, but like we want to see like what they do on a day-to-day basis. That's like regular people type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like we're so hyper focused on it.
Yeah, I think like I said with this whole convention thing, it shows like the back end of like these big content creators. Like there was one girl who, and this is like one of the big things that went on this week, which is kind of the thing we've been doing with the podcast recently, is just keeping up with what's going on. This girl was at TwitchCon, and mind you, this is just, you know, a bunch of people trying to enjoy, you know, the time that they have there. It's like a weekend or whatever, and, you know, trying to, you know, meet new people, do whatever, enjoy the booths that they got there. And they had like one of those like, you know, foam pit things where it's like, you know, you do like they have like the sword shits and you kind of fight your friends or whatever with it. Yo, this girl tried to jump into the foam pit and broke her back in 2 places. Because the foam pit was like this thick.
I saw that. There was multiple people hurt there. It was really bad.
It was like 4 or 5 plus injuries in this one spot, and they kept it open.
Twitch is liable.
Well, the thing is, they put a waiver out, so they couldn't even sue them for it.
Usually those waivers aren't true.
No, yeah, 100%. I agree.
So being an actuarial science major, that is like the insurance behind like, what's the probability of blank, blank, blank? But Twitch, I think, does like have 100% liability. Like that's, if you're saying it's a foam pit, and foam pits are normally like known for being deep and like people jump in them. Obviously, if it's only like 3 inches and someone tries to jump in them, like they're gonna get hurt. And the fact that there's multiple injuries and nobody said anything, like Twitch is definitely gonna get like a lawsuit or something over it.
I read something about it. I think what it was the reason that Twitch hasn't got anything over it yet is because, it was at their event, which still, regardless if it was under a different company, but regardless it was at their event, they could still catch something for it because it had to do with them. Regardless, it's like if you're with somebody and they do a crime. You didn't do it, but you were with them, so you're a part of it.
Accomplice.
You helped them. Like, you quite literally gave them the stage to do this.
Yeah, I think the term for it is negligent. Yeah, negligent. It's just like when you sign that agreement, that waiver, when you're like, oh, if I die during skydiving, like it goes nothing on you. But like if you can prove that it was the skydiving company's fault and it wasn't just like normal, like everyday issues, then of course they're going to be liable. But they put that waiver out because they know like 2/3 of the time, like you're not going to report it because that you signed that waiver.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't really look into them, and they're like, oh, I signed it, I can't do shit about it. Which, if you actually look into it, you can do something about it because that's the reason you got injured. What kind of shit? Somebody's got to be responsible for it, and it wasn't my fault. I didn't jump into this thinking it was shallow. Yeah, when you see a foam pit, people do flips off trampolines into those. You don't just fall in there
for gymnastics. And fucking, there's the videos of the dudes hanging from the ceiling in these
falling into that
gymnastics room, or that guy who runs down the. You ever see the guy who does the videos where he's like climbing the shit and he's just screaming the whole time?
Oh yeah,
and then he like runs and you just hear, and he just fucking like fades into the foam
and that's
pit.
what's so crazy because like I watched the video back a couple of times, and it's like it's not like it was, it was kind of deep, but there wasn't any foam there. There was maybe 2 layers of foam, like one cube and then a cube under, and she hit the bottom, like she bounced back up. I'm like, yo, at least put like a pad there or something. I don't know.
Or like a warning sign.
Yeah, like shallow, don't jump in. Like, because if somebody would have dove, they would have died. They would have broke their neck and died. It's like, imagine somebody went full dive.
Like, it's a sword fighting. Like, obviously you're going to fall. So it's like, why do you have only 3 inches of protection?
Yeah, it's almost mind-boggling how stupid of an idea that is to not have some sort of cushioning. I don't get it. I can't fathom why nobody would. Hey, somebody got hurt. That we might want to add more.
Completely avoidable situation.
Oh, 100%.
And after the first injury, it should have been either shut down or figure out some sort of plan of action to, maybe like warn them about how deep or how shallow it is.
Yeah,
don't just full on jump in, because it was enough where like if they just fell over, it was okay.
If you fall in, yeah, but if you jump, all right, now we got a problem.
They're like, oh yeah, that shorty just broke her back. Yo, you want to dive? Like, they're like watching this happen. They're like, yes, Twitch content.
It was streamed, so everybody knew it happened. It's not like, oh, we didn't see it, so how would we know? We all saw it. We were all watching this. There was and then like in the whole Twitch realm, there was the whole the past few weeks has been crazy with accusations on people and stuff like that. There was sexual assault accusations with I think 2 or 3 people now. and one of them, which kind of was like, whoa, like it's kind of like this is a serious thing. You might want to take it serious. There's a guy who was streaming, and you know, during his stream, somebody came in the room and was talking to him about, you know, avoiding things, and he's like, yeah, I avoided, you know, some charges for like the past 4 years. I'm like, dude, you're still involved in this. Why are we making jokes about that? Like, dude, like, first of all, one, it's not something you want to joke about to begin with because it's sexual assault charges. The police are still watching me. Like, I still have a target on my back kind of right here. Why would you joke about that?
Do you guys listen to Rex Orange County?
I was literally about to bring
no, I don't.
He has a bunch of sexual assault charges, and most of his songs are all about, like, love, worshiping women, like, oh my God, I love you, or about, I don't know if he has a girlfriend or a wife, but yeah, now he's dealing with a bunch of sexual assault, like, charges, and a lot of people aren't listening to him anymore because it's, like, doesn't match the vibe.
Yeah, and one of the main reasons why that was so publicized was Rex Orange County, like, canceled their tour saying he had to deal with, like, personal issues when it was reality he couldn't, like, leave the country or something like that because of the charges.
Well, they have him like he was gonna flee the country type of thing. They have him
I think
locked down?
so, something like that.
Oh, jeez.
But when it got out, everyone was, like, really angry.
That,
like, rightfully so, because, like, he basically is trying to, I don't even know if he released a statement on it yet, actually.
ooh. That kind of similar to that, how you're talking about how he makes like stuff about, like, you know, love and all that stuff. There was a YouTube group, who was it, Try Guys? They had like one of their guys who's like the main guy is like his thing is like, oh, I love my wife, this and that, and then they end up finding out he's cheating and all that shit. I'm like, yo, what is going on with people? It's crazy.
That shows why brand integrity is so important. Like, it was detrimental to their brand, and they knew that, and also that's not what they value as, like, a company.
There was, and then a couple of months ago or weeks ago was the Celtics thing with they had a coach having affairs with people in-house and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, everyone is all over the place right now.
Messy.
Yeah. No, at least when the Try Guys, like, found out, like, they immediately removed him off of everything, and they released a statement, a Q&A about, like, how they're going to deal with it. They left their comments open, just, like, really open communication of, like, what went through everyone's mind when they first heard and how they were going to remove him. Like, there was no question that, like, he was going to be taken out the brand, even though he was, like, literally 25% of it.
They got some like backlash and stuff for bringing out statements about it too, didn't they? Because people were like, "Why are you guys talking about this so much? It's not even that big." I'm like, dude, that's their whole brand. Their whole brand is, well, especially for this dude, was being the guy who's like,
Loves his wife.
I love my wife. Da da da. There's so many clips of him talking about, oh yeah, my wife this, my wife that, and then there's also the clips that people are pulling up where it's like, oh, this kind of like he was kind of like hinting at, you know, him doing shit before, and like in broad daylight, nobody really noticed, and we're like. Now people are showing it's like, oh, yeah, see, that doesn't look too good.
That's one bad thing about being like a YouTuber and influencer with a following is like there was a picture taken of him outside like a bar of him kissing a girl. That's how he got caught cheating. So it's like when you have a following, like eyes are always on you. So like, for example, my audience is like young middle school teenage girls, so I can't just be posting out here wilding like we outside. Like that does not match me as like a person.
You see, oh, there's kids who look up to these guys, or there's people who watch them on a frequent basis and be like, oh yeah, that's normal, we can do that too. No, that's not what you want to have. And I think
talk about how much you love your wife and then just go meet a chick at the bar.
And like women will find out everything. Like women are the best FBI agents ever. Like they like I saw a picture of a cat and I was able to pinpoint whose cat it was, what's the house address, what's the number, where they got it from. And it's just like
baby, I'll find your long lost cousin.
Like I will tell you information about your family like that you didn't even know.
You know you're adopted.
Whoa, what? Hold on a second. Like the old It's like yeah, that's I don't know. It's beyond me how people can, like, especially like people in big, you know, spotlights and stuff like that, still think like, obviously you want to have a normal life, you want to be able to go out and do stuff, you know, on a normal basis. You can't do that.
I don't know how people even fucking cheat, bro.
Bro, how do you have time? It's like, so much effort.
I was like how first of all, morally, like I could never do something like that. So f***ed up. Like if you want to go with someone else, just break up with the person.
Yeah,
don't lead on a relationship that it's like it's unhealthy for both parties to do that.
It's also time consuming.
Yeah, and it's like I couldn't do it, one, because it's morally wrong, and two, I'm a really bad liar. I'm not a good liar. And you can see through me if I'm trying to lie. I don't even do it anymore. I just tell the truth. I f***ed up.
I'm caught.
Okay, mom, I did crack. Why? Like,
whoa, whoa.
I can't hide shit. I'm just so bad at lying. I get so nervous, and I'm just like,
which isn't a bad thing.
Just stay out of trouble, and
yeah,
and just tell the truth. That's what I'm fucking trying to do now because I could never do something like that.
Yeah, it's the same thing with holding a grudge. Like, it takes a lot of energy and like mental energy to like hold a lie and keep lying, and like,
because once you start lying, like it just like shit. Yeah, you better remember, and you better realize who you told the lie to, and like you will. Like, if you're cheating, you will get caught up through your f***ing friends. Like, your friends will tell your girl, like, exactly what you're doing because their friends are trying to get with you, too. And, like, that's...
wait. Yeah. I've never heard of that happening to someone.
Really?
No.
Like,
they sabotage their homeboy? Like, that's sabotaging to a whole nother
I've heard
level.
about that, like, a lot.
I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it happen. Like, I always see, like...
I've seen it happen.
I've always seen, like, where they try to, like, make up some cover for everything. Like, if you mess up, say this instead. If you say this, do this instead. People try too hard to hide shit.
You'd rather lose like an 8-year childhood best friend to some random girl that he's been dating for like 3 months. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Wild. I don't know. I mean, I got everything out that I wanted to talk about. I mean, you guys might have something. Do you have anything you want to go on? You guys?
Yeah, I mean, I know we're getting kind of long here. It's at 50 minutes almost.
Yeah, it's pretty average for what we do. But I'm saying, if there's anything else you guys want to chat about, I mean,
I think we hit everything
for sure.
I do want to give a shout out to cameraman Ja over here.
Yeah, shout out cameraman Ja behind the cameras over here,
operating our cameras today.
we got him back finally. He's alive. He's not dead. You guys have heard of him before. He's still here. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Obviously,
we'll have the links to.
Yeah, whatever you guys do, you guys give us that stuff. Put in there. Yeah.
So we'll throw that in there too. So
yeah, but thank you guys for watching. This is episode 15 now. If you guys are new, keep coming back. If you guys are returning, thank you for coming back again and being here with us. Shout out to you guys for being here again. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.